Happy New Year. Welcome to the Mojave Air and Spaceport at Rattan Field. Notice of a regular meeting of the Board of Directors, January 7th, 2025. Roll call.
No.
Call to order. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Now classes.
Oh, yeah.
Director Hanson.
Present.
Director Ballantyne.
Here.
Director Parker.
Here.
Director Allred here. All present and accounted for. Approval of agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda, moving action item 4A to the top.
Second.
All right.
The top being before community announcements.
Before community
All right.
announcements.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Any second? So we have a first by Mr. Parker, second by Director Ballantyne. Comments? Any comments? No comments? Director Hanson? They're here, so I can do all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Votes unanimous. So we're going to do action item A, Mojave Air and Spaceport appointment of Board of Director. Discussion?
Good afternoon, members of the board. So we are here for this item because unfortunately Director Coleman passed away before he could take office. And so now the board is left to fill the vacancy for his seat. If the board is ready today to fill the vacancy, you may make that appointment. You have until February 4th to do it. So you could also do it at the next meeting in January. And per the Brown Act, this is all open session. There's no closed session discussion, interview, or otherwise regarding this appointment. So however you choose to conduct the procedure, it will be an open session. If you decide that you want to wait until the next meeting, you want to interview candidates, you want to keep it open a little longer, whatever you want, you can do that as well. In the past, this board has taken the step of appointing an ad hoc committee to interview candidates. We were in this position previously 10 years ago when Mike Hill ran for office, was elected, and perished in a plane crash before he could take office as well. So at that point in time, the board just went with the person who had the next highest votes from the electors. So you have a couple of options. It's up to you how you want to handle it, but that's where we're at right now. So whatever is the board's pleasure.
As the acting president, my consensus is that we take the next in line from the electoral.
Now, I'd like to hear from the candidates that are here before we make the step. Since they made the trip here to see what they have to say before we make a decision. How many are here? Two. Either of you like to say anything before the board makes the decision?
Good afternoon, board. Jim Kropel. I'm sure it's probably obvious by now by seeing my smiling face out in this audience for the last five months that I'm interested in being part of the board. I'm a lifetime member of the community. I've been in aerospace as a career for about 35 years, nearing the end of my career now. And I'd just like to continue kind of being in the aviation community as well as serving my community of Mojave. And I'm a problem solver type of person. I think I would fit in pretty well. Any questions at me? Okay.
Not for me.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings. I'm Jeff Holey. I've lived in Mojave for 25 years, I think, twice. And I first came here in 1988, working at Scale Composites for an engine company, Williams International, that provided the engines for the Model 143 Triumph that Scale built, which was the first to fly that engine, which is now very successful in light business jets. Then I left and went off to Indiana, which is where I'm from, and was a college professor for 12 years. Wow. And then turned around and came back and back at Scaled. And I think a total of 8 years working at Scaled, multiple jobs. I'm an aerospace guy for a lifetime, like Jim Krokel is. I think I'm up to 40 years. He's just a kid. But so my aerospace career has been in turbine engine development, flight. I'm a flight instructor and a mechanic, and I've done engineering jobs. I'm not a degreed engineer like Jim is, but a lot of engineering titled jobs like development jobs are more hands-on than math. So I've enjoyed living in Mojave, and I think my broad background would allow me to be an open-minded player for what you need. But it's my drive is a service role, and I think I can help understand. I'm very immersed in general aviation and understand where it's going. Like we have the fuel fiasco on the horizon that y'all are going to have to deal with, and it's going to be a mess. Not sure how you fix it, but I know it's going to be there, and it's going to be something to deal with. So thanks for your time, and thank you. Have a great day.
Just one question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you have any management experience at Scale?
I did. Okay. And otherwise, when I was a college professor, I opened a new site for the school as Purdue University, and they have what's called the statewide technology program, and I was the first director of that site. So, the hiring and unfortunately firing and staff issues, budget, all that kind of stuff. Anything else?
That's all I have.
No,
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The effort to do the application and speak to us.
Thanks.
Is that a motion?
No, it's a suggestion.
Well, I'll put it into a motion and to accept Mr. Krokel, since he was the next vote getter for the 5-year election. And that's a motion.
The constituents have spoken.
I'll second that.
All right.
So now you need public comment?
Public comment? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those dissent? It's unanimous. Vote carries. Mr. Krokel is our new board member, director.
All right, so why don't you come on up?
Come on down.
Welcome to the board.
And what we are going to do is we're going to have, who's the board secretary? Jim?
He's going to swear.
He's going to give you the
swear you in.
Swear you in. Just like old hat. He didn't even need a script.
Yeah, I do. I only read 3 words at a time.
Right now.
That's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to have you stand about right here then. Because that camera feeds with me. I saw a picture of it and
Oh, yeah.
God, where did it hurt?
And Harold's taking the pictures.
Okay, give me 1 second here to orientate. This is the oath for the office of director for the Mojave Air and Spaceport at Rutan Field. So, raise your right hand and then repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jim Krokel,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of California.
and the
Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance, that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, and to the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservations, or purpose of evasion, and that I will, that's W-I-L-L and W-U-L, I will, and that I will, and faithfully, discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Discharge the duties which I am about to enter. Thank you.
I guess this is my seat.
This is your seat. I'll move over. There's a little more room.
Don't grab the president. It's a little deafening. All right.
Hey.
Watch it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his bowl of candy.
Congratulations on taking office, and Lynn will work with you in getting the proper paperwork for the county and the Form 700, which I'm happy to talk with you about as well.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Community announcements, public comments, items not on the agenda. Director Hanson?
Oh, I was going to do it under director's comments, but that's good. No, I'll do it now. Just wanted to let you know, Plane Crazy Saturday is coming up January 18th, third Saturday of the month. Mojave Transportation Museum coordinates that, and our speaker is Steve Erickson, and he's going to be talking about the airplanes that he has designed and airplanes he's owned, and he helped design Nemesis. That was John Sharp's Formula airplane, the most winningest Formula One airplane ever. It's in the Smithsonian now. But they both worked at Lockheed, and I believe Steve had a lot to do with the shape of the wing. He also worked at Beach on the Starship, and that's why he first came to Mojave. And he worked on some other airplanes that scaled. And then he's owned some really unusual aircraft. He had a little Aranca C3, ugly little airplane, I'm sorry, but she looked like a flying bathtub. But also a German Storch, which I actually got to fly in with him. And it'll be an interesting talk, so I guarantee you don't want to miss it. January 18th coming. And if you're friends with him, you could heckle him. But anyway, Steve Erickson, he's an interesting guy, good sense of humor, but he's done some really neat stuff. So I hope y'all can come. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Consent agenda.
Hang on.
Oh.
You have another public
Oh,
comment?
excuse me.
Wait, there's more.
There's more.
Hi, good afternoon. I just wanted to give a quick update on our Christmas event that was in December. So in the packet, I attached some pictures of the event, some of the trees that went, right? Some of you did attend, some did attend and decorate trees, which we truly appreciated. I believe that tree was actually in here. Kids were very lucky to get that one. But anyway, we had almost 700 kids participate in the toy giveaway, and almost 300 families participated in the decorated Christmas tree giveaway. And with that, we ended up giving away 49 decorated trees. That's our all-time high right now. We were aiming for 39 and we got 49. So we're quite excited about that. Plans are already in the motion for next year, and looking forward to it and working with the CHP again. And that's it.
I'd like to thank all the businesses and people that did donate to that. It was pretty awesome. I didn't go to the actual event, but
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was just wonderful. And to see all the kids and the parents, I mean, so many smiles. It was a happy event. And the trees were really neat. I mean, the Stratolunch tree was just amazing.
Yeah, some of the trees that they've done for the contest and just the decorating in general have been amazing. People, the families are very thrilled with getting the trees and the decorations. So, you know, that add on to the toy giveaway has really been a benefit to
And
the
Santa
community.
Claus was a big hit.
Santa Claus, the Grinch, yes, we had them fly in on a helicopter thanks to NTPS and Andre being our pilot to come in on his day off. And
Right.
yes, so
It was
it's
wonderful.
Yeah,
Just
very
wonderful.
exciting, and we had a lot of great participation with the local companies and some that aren't local that participated. So
You
it was
just
really
did a
great.
spectacular job of coordinating all of the different companies and tending to every little detail. The security was wonderful, and it was really very well done.
Oh, thank you. Yes, volunteers do a great job.
and also to staff.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Absolutely.
say,
Staff-
thanks,
staff-
Lynn, for
staff-
putting it together.
Staff,
and all the
volunteers,
staff
a
members.
lot of work. Yep.
You guys did an excellent job.
And she was a perfect elf.
Yes. Yes, we love those kids.
Well, they are sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Action items. We've already done A, B.
Actually, can we do
Consent.
consent agenda?
Consent agenda.
Oh, consent.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda, minutes of the regular board meeting, December 17th.
Second.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Do we need comment in there?
So I would, did you vote?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear you.
I didn't either. I've got to get used to the fifth now.
Thank you.
All right. Set agenda's taken care of.
Well, A is
All right, action items. A has been completed. B, BHK Accountancy Corporation.
Yeah, good afternoon. Mark from BHK is online via Zoom to brief the board on the audit that we completed.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for this opportunity to present with you. There are three new board members this year compared to the last year. So if you guys have any questions for me while I'm going through it, feel free to stop me. I'm more than happy to ask any questions. Just an update. Like I said, I appreciate the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to work on Mojave. Carrie and her team does a great job. They always have everything prepped for us. It's a fun audit. It's different. You guys have a lot of, like to call it exotic type items that are a little different than your normal special districts. The lease accounting in itself is its own little treat, but we do enjoy it. They do a good job. It's a lot of moving parts, but they do a great job of getting everything ready. Carrie, I'm assuming you have, like you did last year, have it where you can put it on the screen?
You know, I don't have it to put up on the screen, but the board members do all have a copy of it.
Excellent. Even better. So last year, I think we had a few new accounting standards. This year, no new accounting standards. So everything's relatively, the accounting was treated the same. One thing we did have to do this year, similar to last year, and I believe the year before, we did have to do a single audit. That requirement is when you spend so much federal funds. The threshold was $750,000. It does go up soon, but not for next year or the year after, maybe. So because of that, spending $750,000 of federal funds, we did have to go through a single audit process again, which is an extra step that's outside of the normal audit. And we have to report it to the government, which I will be doing this week. If you have the governance letter, it's going to be about 4 pages. starts with the BHK letterhead. This is in essence my reporting to you guys, those charged with governance. It's telling you if there's any issues or problems we had as part of it, and we didn't have any issues. It's about 4 pages. Hopefully you guys have that. It goes through what we think are the significant estimates as part of the audit. That's going to be your CalPERS valuations, which is done by CalPERS actually, where they come up with what the obligation is relating to the pension retirement. You also have an OPEB plan, which is your post-employment benefits, which is mostly healthcare. Once again, you have an actuary that does that calculation also. So these are estimates, they're not really hard numbers. You know, to some degree they put in a black box and it magically pops out. We look at it for reasonableness, but I couldn't reperform it if I had to. The other things are going to be of significance would be those lease receivables, which I kind of already mentioned, which is specific to government accounting. On page 2, we talked about, do we have any difficulties encountered as part of the audit? No. Were there any corrected or incorrect in the statements? We did 2 journal entries. They're known journal entries, meaning we plan on them as part of the audit, and they relate to, once again, the CalPERS and OPEB. Carrie just gives us all the information, and we just put the entries part of the audit. It's just kind of easier that way. And then were there any other issues or findings? The answer is no. So that part is all my reporting, the official reporting that I have to you. This has to be in writing, can't be verbally. That's the governance letter. If you guys have any questions of that, feel free to ask me, but other than that, I'm going to move on to the financial statements. Okay, perfect. The financial statements, we assist in the preparation of them, but they're essentially the district's financial statements. They're your numbers, they're your notes. We just assist in the preparation. The only thing that's ours as part of the financial statements are the 3 reports. We have an audit report, we have an internal control report, and then we have the single audit report. So the audit report, what you're looking for is a clean opinion, and that's what you guys have. There's no qualifications relating to it, no other issues related to it. So based off that, we give a clean opinion on the financial statements. The internal control report, which is way in the back on page 34 and 35, that report just, as part of the audit, did we come across any issues relating to the internal controls of the district? Part of it we discussed with the accountants and actually Dr. Smith and Carrie. We had our fun little conversation also, and we went through everything, said, do we have any concerns? Did we notice anything as part of the audit? And the answer is no. While we're not specifically testing for internal control issues, we didn't come across any that we thought were significant to report to the district. In fact, we didn't come across any in general. And then the last report we have is the single audit report. And that's on page 38, and that's just the required reporting as part of the single audit testing we did. And it states, do we come across any issues relating to the single audit and the controls or the numbers that we're going to be presenting to the federal government? And the answer is no. So those are our parts. The rest of the financial statements are yours. Felt like it'd be good just to kind of go over the highlights of those real quick, if you guys don't mind. And I'm going to switch to balance sheet page 9 and 10. I'll let you guys turn there in a second. I can kind of see you guys. You're really small in my window, but I can see you guys still turning pages. Looks like everyone's there. Perfect. So the balance sheet, this is an extremely strong balance sheet. It's government. I'm going to call it equity because non-governmental issue people know it as equity anyways. Of the total 126 million in assets, you have $57 million in retained earnings or equity or net position for the government standpoint. That's a very strong balance sheet when you consider everything that goes on here. Some overview, while we don't have comparatives, these kind of gave you guys I have them here, so kind of walk you through it. Overall accounts receivables went down $5 million from the prior year. And that was all relates to grants that we had requested reimbursements for. So you take away the grants and then the receivables are relatively the same as from the prior year. In addition, capital assets went up about $4.5 million, which was offset by $2.6 million in depreciation. You guys invested about $4.5 million in the 1230 runway project, the lighting project, the water line project, and the taxiway project. So a lot of money spent in the current year relating to those projects. On the liability side, overall accounts payable was down $5.7 million, and that was related to mostly the construction payables that related to the grants receivable. So we got to receive the grant income, and then we paid down the payables related to it. I think it was mostly granite, but I'll defer to Carrie on that. But I'm pretty sure it's mostly granite construction for those payables from the prior year. That's the balance sheet in a nutshell. Those were the major changes. For the most part, the rest of the stuff stayed relatively consistent with the prior year. You go to the next page, page 11, that's the income statement. Overall, the revenue increased about $1.1 million, and that was mostly due to fuel in the current year. You guys sold about, I believe it was 300,000 more gallons of fuel in the current year compared to the prior year. As such, the cost of fuel sold also went up almost accordingly. They went up $800,000 compared to the prior year. Now, the big changes really relate to, last year we had operating income of about $200,000. This year we had an operating loss of $2.1 million. And it's part of the pension items changes. So all the pension costs are mostly actuarially based. And last year we had a credit of $1.1 million relating to the actuarial accounting for the pension. This year we had expenses of $600,000, so it had a $1.7 million change, which drove the majority of the increase in our G&A costs from $5.5 million in the prior year to $7.7 million in the current year. And lastly, last significant change was your grant revenue. In the prior year, we had $8.1 million in grant revenue. This year, we have about $1.7 million. With an overall result of a $2.3 million increase to your guys' overall net position in the current year. I think the cash flow statement is probably a good thing to see when you guys are looking at your cash, because it did go down $1.1 million. This kind of shows, that's on page 12 and 13. Kind of gives you kind of a heads up of like, oh, where did our cash go? And if you guys look, you can see like cash flows from capital and related financing activities. Your overall expenditures was a net of $2.8 million outflows, with the majority of that being construction payables and the pay down of the payables from the prior year that exceeded the grant receipts in the current year and the income in the current year related to grants. That's the majority of where your cash went in the current year. Your overall operating activities did go down $1.2 million, but I think that's kind of a timing of receipts versus payables, which probably is about normally, I think, break even. The rest of the finance statements, unless you guys have specific questions, are filled with a lot of detail, specifically about the pension and the OPEB, lots and lots of pages of those. Those are required disclosures. But other than that, unless you guys have specific questions, I was going to leave it open to you guys. Have any questions for me?
I don't for you, other than I want to congratulate the staff and Carrie specifically for making it a joy.
Yeah. And BHK is great to work with as well.
Sure. Yeah. I'm happy. This is what I really expect.
The fuel cells was a lot of the military planes that came in, weren't they?
Yeah.
Boost.
Yeah. I don't have the complete breakdown of it, but yeah,
Go
definitely.
Navy.
Yeah.
Sorry, David.
It's all good.
All good.
Just one B-52 would make up.
I know. We're 1C-17.
One saddle.
Yeah. Any more questions?
I'm happy. Do you need like a motion to accept it, or?
You receive and file it. It's an independent audit, so it's not up to you to approve it or disapprove it.
Okay.
You receive and file it.
I would just like to say, overall, we're in good shape. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes. You got it.
Thank you.
Bottom line.
All right, move on to C. Resolution amending board policy 100 regarding ethics, conflict of interest.
Yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Political Reform Act requires government agencies to amend their conflict of interest codes when required. And we've had some administrative changes in designations of positions and who does the applicable Form 700s, who are the designated positions there. And the minor changes in your packet is the Director of Planning is now the Director of Facilities, and the Director of Public Safety and Security is an add, and they both will be required to do applicable disclosures.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like more discussion, we have additional information for you, but I think that's the Reader's Digest version on that particular point.
So you want a motion to approve the resolution?
Yes.
So be it.
We have a motion to approve,
Second.
second by Director Hanson. All those in favor?
Public
Aye.
comment?
Oh, public comment, excuse me. Any public comment? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous vote? Reports, number 5A, Director of Administration.
Good afternoon. These are the financials for November 30th, 2024. Bank balance increased 593,000. If you remember last month, we did decrease, and that was just in the timing of it, getting the reimbursements back from the FAA on some of the payables. Operating revenue, we're at 43%, and operating expenses, we're at 37%. Should be at 41%, so we're right now moving along with the overall on the expenses and revenue. Fuel sales was 92,000 gallons. On AR, as of December 30th, High Desert Wireless still outstanding, and Dragon Aviation. David is continuing to keep communication open with Dragon. They still have a potential buyer for the aircraft. So we're hoping that will get resolved here in the coming weeks. Fitness Center has 681 members, hoping to grow come January. You know, everybody goes to the gym in January. So that's all I have for right now. Do you have any questions?
Not so much about it. How's the new bank working out?
Good. No, it's working out good. Yep. As we kind of made the transition, obviously there was, trying to learn their ways and kind of get everything squared away. But it's been working out.
You still haven't considered a place in Mojave?
No, I was given a 6 months before I see where they're kind of at with it. I haven't heard any more from the chamber on how they're moving forward with a bank branch, or if anyone's considering coming to Mojave. I was going to reach back out to the bank manager.
Thank you, Carrie.
Well, hello, Mr. Wind.
Yeah. Mr. Smith, Chief Executive Officer, Hangar Development updates.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the board, before we jump into hangar updates, which I'll give you in just a moment, I just wanted to take a minute. Thinking of the work Carrie did with the auditors, just compliment across the board, the entire staff here. And that goes all the way down to a young lady who comes in at the end of the day, makes certain the toilets are clean and pristine and the trash is done. I have been blessed to be with really good staffs. This is as good as they come. This is absolutely amazing. Small highlights, Floyd out there through the holiday season with baling wire and speed tape, figuring out how to keep stuff going.
Yeah.
As the weather changes. Many of you probably don't know this, a little under the weather, but Ariel, on her own, a little bit of external help, but really on her own, put together a Thanksgiving dinner here on Thanksgiving, so that our staff that had to work that day had a place to go.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And in addition to that, 4 local deputy sheriffs came.
Oh, nice.
And, they, on their shift, got to have a little fellowship and a hot turkey dinner because
Wonderful.
somebody went the extra mile.
Above and beyond.
You know.
Yeah.
And I could go on with example after example of where that happens with all the branches on a day-to-day basis. Those are just highlights, and I know we're on the same sheet of music and being very proud of staff. So they do great work. With that, on the hangars, we did have a good meeting with Mr. Natch again. He is the gentleman looking at 40 hangars on Bravo Bravo. Initially 40, he wants an option to potentially move that up to 80 or possibly a few more. He'd like to see how his business plan works out on the first 40, but they're getting very close to moving forward on that agreement. Additionally, Jet Zero is moving forward aggressively with the intent to lease about 10 acres and build a 60,000 square foot facility adjacent to Faith Anchor. So very positive outcomes there that are going to really grow this enterprise dramatically. No updates right now on local equity. I'm not certain where we stand on moving forward with them, but we do maintain communication with them.
For the new board members, maybe a brief local equity. Just, I don't know. You know local equity? Okay, just
Dr. Gill.
Oh, great. So, Dr. Gill, possibly you'd like to address that directly.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Thanks for taking the time. So just as it relates to us, we have actually submitted a draft update to the lease document. We've finalized the site plan. We've worked with your staff. They've been very helpful communicating with Edison, the fire marshal, the county. We have everything ready to go. We're ready for your signature. I believe the documents and the ball's in your court, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. I will research that and run it around immediately.
Yes, sir. We'd love to. We believe we are around 6 to 8 months away from being able to move dirt. So we'd love to have another positive news for you to report to the board, please.
That'll be wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Gell.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
And just for the new board members, this is for general aviation hangars and the GA hangar area down there that we're talking about.
This is at 40 units.
No, this is a different one. That's kind of why I wanted to make sure. This is the 40 or so is over on taxiway Bravo, right, which I'll help you identify. And Dr. Gill's project is in the general aviation hangar, I believe, to the vacant land that's outside the existing GA fence that where the tanks.
Where the fuel tanks used to be.
Right.
And how many
Underground.
potential hangars?
I'm not sure exactly what their plan is.
I don't recall the exact numbers.
Haven't seen it yet.
24 hangars, sir.
24.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
And
various
size?
sizes. So they range between 1,800 to close to 3,000 square foot in size.
That'd be fine.
Thank you.
So I'll jump forward into various highlights. A few things that are coming up in the next week that the board ought to know about and have visibility on that I think show just the impact that Mojave has in the aerospace valley in total. Thursday this week, SIVMIL will have their monthly meeting here.
Oh,
And then tour National Test Pilot School with their new SIVMIL board director, Jeff Frank. SIVMIL, our relationship with Edwards, Plant 42, and the military community in Aerospace Valley has to stay robust. We absolutely are partners on this journey. Of course, this helps that. Additionally, the membership of SIVMIL tends to be movers and shakers in the local aerospace community with representatives from major businesses across the marketplace, along with all the major aerospace enterprises up here. So having them up will be a great opportunity for us to once again be proud of what we do here. Along with that, California State University Bakersfield is bringing their business faculty out here for a tour Friday this week. And they are going to see several of our mission partners out here, along with meeting with the staff and getting an overview and tour of the entire Air and Spaceport. This is a fascinating business case enterprise, and that's what they're very interested in, is how to grow and develop and carry that forward in their curriculum to assist us with having the right kind of human capital out here in the long term, having those right things available. I'd be remiss if I didn't once again beat the drum about the toy and Christmas tree giveaway. Between laughing in joy and crying in respect and watching those kids and their families.
It was wonderful.
And you could tell by looking at many of them that this was their Christmas.
That was it.
I mean, if not for this, there's nothing out there. So Len and Alma and the entire staff here just rolled out great community partnerships. Were out there as well, helping with our law enforcement and emergency responders that did much of the gift giveaway organizing and maintaining. For instance, the local Air and Space Force Association came out to provide a little manpower, and it turned out to be very beneficial because apparently the junction box going to the hot cocoa shorted out.
Oh.
And one of the individuals there happened to be a licensed electrician with the union and was able to step right in and do a Johnny on the spot quick repair. And, awesome. You know, it just wouldn't be the same if we didn't have hot cocoa there for those kids. So it worked out wonderfully. Still strong interactions with AV Edge, looking at reestablishing a relationship with the International Test and Evaluation Association. The Antelope Valley participation in that across the board has atrophied. I think it's an area where we can grow people and provide opportunities for people to publish, for people to cut their teeth in the test and evaluation world out here, along with all of our mission partners here at Mojave Air and Spaceport. Considerable collaboration continues to go on with aerospace in the local area. Some very recent work in support of one of our business partners that involves the AFRL and the Fort Test Wing and the possibility of reutilizing the X-33 site. So we're involved in assisting in some of those discussions. Further work with the Edwards Aero Club. They now have approval to do refuelings out here. So it's not uncommon that you'll hear an Echo Delta call sign in the pattern. So the Aero Club is regularly doing transition work here, refueling work here, et cetera. Since access to 100 low lead at Edwards is now extremely difficult, since they no longer have South Base access to Aero Club.
Landing counts.
They all go up, and that'll all help our drive to assist Ariel in getting this tower situation fully resolved. Those are the highlights that I wanted to bring forward, subject to your questions, board members.
Good.
It's great.
No. Board committees, we don't have any committees.
Yeah.
6. Oh, director comments. Items not on the agenda. I think we're good there.
I just, as a director, would like to welcome the new board members. I'm very happy with them sitting on the board and for a very productive year.
Yeah. I guess we're moving to man, I just got, it gets so relaxed here.
You're not at home, Terry.
I know. God, dang.
No feet on the desk.
Yeah. So we have to go into a closed session at this point.
Recording stopped.